We are definitely in Cook season when it comes to Monday Night Raw. And when it pertains to all the developments that took place on Raw last night, I gotta say, man, this probably was the most interesting Raw that I've seen that was not intertwined with the build up to a major pay-per-view, because this is a Raw that was supposed to be lukewarm for the most part. You know how some Raws are just like blah, mediocre when they're coming out of a big show. There isn't really much anticipation, a little bit to see what happens, but like we're on to Saturday night's main event. And considering Saturday night main event is not really a big four pay-per-view like the Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series, I was a little bit surprised that there was a lot of effort put into this Raw this week. But I think we can kind of contribute that to the fact that Triple H, he plans out segments in advance. It's not what Vince McMahon, where everything is just last minute. Everything is just copy, paste, edit, put together, plastered. You know, you can tell that Triple H and the creative team, they put some thought into this Raw episode. Okay, and everything involving Xavier Woods, KOFI, and Big E. First of all, welcome back, Big E. Nice to see him. Nice to see him back in the ring. Obviously not in wrestling, but like on TV, just showing his face. That was pretty cool to see. Now, let's just say this about the New Day. I've been anticipating the New Day to break up for a long time. Okay, I'm gonna tell y'all and admit that New Day was never my favorite faction at all. I was never a fan of the New Day. Never really cared for them as much, but I respect their longevity. I respect their ability to still get the fans to care about them. And you saw that here. You saw the implosion, but not from KOFI and Xavier. Shockingly enough, they directed their anger, they directed their, their bitterness and their negativity to Big E, claiming that Big E should have been there for them during their time of going back and forth and arguing with one another. And Big E was trying to explain himself like, look, I had neck problems and I couldn't be in the ring. But it was revealed that he never actually got neck surgery in the first place. So Xavier and KOFI, they pretty much turned their own back on Big E. And we all came into this segment, this 10th anniversary segment, expecting New Day with KOFI and Xavier to break up. One of them turning heel on one another. But my oh my, what a swerve that this was. KOFI and Xavier wound up turning heel on Big E. And so now they're going to be together still, but it ain't going to be the New Day. It's not going to be the gimmick. It's not going to be the character. It's not going to be the goofy attires. It's not going to be the pancakes. It's not going to be the cereal boxes, the Budio cereal, whatever you want to call it. The whole gimmick is being dropped completely. And so KOFI and Xavier, they're just going to be a heel tag team, hopefully to, I guess, wreck shop. I don't know what the plan is going forward. I don't see where this is exactly going, but I'm intrigued to see where this is all going to lead to. And hopefully this leads into Big E coming back in the ring full time, and maybe we'll see some type of triple threat for WrestleMania. I don't know. But the way this segment was done, amazing job. This was not the desired result that I was expecting. Me personally, I was expecting Xavier to be the one to stab Kofi in the back for the most part. Now, another development is of course CM Punk and Seth Rollins. They still beefing, they still going back at one another and stuff like that. Punk wants nothing to do with Seth Rollins in terms of, I'm not even thinking about you. My focus is not on you. It's that world championship. It's that main event of WrestleMania. Blah, 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 blah. You know, Seth Rollins comes out. He's standing on business. He ready to swing on Punk, and he's ready to fight Punk. This whole time he's been, showing Punk a little bit remorse because he's been injured and he's been busy with Drew McIntyre. Seth Rollins has been busy defending the world title, facing the Bloodline, facing Bronson Reed. So now he felt that this was the perfect time to beat up CM Punk. And so they get into a little brawl, a little scuffle. And I like the inclusion of Sami Zayn trying to talk Seth out of it, trying to talk Seth out into being on this war path with CM Punk. And it's turning Seth Rollins into a bitter asshole. Okay. And so, Sami Zayn, he mentioned Seth Rollins, his dirty past with him turning on Roman Reigns, creating this monster of the bloodline of the tribal chief. And so there was a lot of mentioning of Seth Rollins and Sami Zayn's past misdoings. Okay. And I like the fact that the storyline is mentioning things that happened in the past, long-term storytelling, and just reminding us of what has happened in the past, right? And then we get into a match with Sami Zayn and Seth Rollins. On paper, this is a 5-star wrestling match, but it didn't need to be that type of match because this was a story-driven type of match. Okay, the basis of this match came down to Sami and Seth having a disagreement. Okay, about partnering up with Roman Reigns and the Bloodline, and then who attacked Jey Uso backstage. Sami thinks it was Seth Rollins that attacked Jey backstage. So Sami lost when he got his emotions get the better of him when he tried to hit Rollins with a steel chair, but he got talked out of it, and Rollins just rolled him up for the 3 count. McIntyre came back, he returned, and claymored Sami Zayn. So we all know that Drew was the one that attacked Jey. It's pretty obvious that Drew, he still got beef with Jey Uso. And the fact that he's cool with CM Punk, who Drew hates, by the way, it made sense for Drew to be the one to attack and lay out Jey backstage. So that was one of the few developments that took place on Raw. Of course, you got the women's IC tournament situation going on. It'll be interesting to see who comes out on top with that, who wins the title. Me personally, I think it should be Natalya. That's just me. We also are going to see Gunther and Finn Balor for the world title at Saturday night's main event. Now, I'm all for Finn Balor getting a shot at the world title. I've been looking and paying attention to Finn Balor lately. He's been putting in work, man. I think he deserves another world title shot and to be in the world title picture. He's been very impressive. I've been saying, for me personally, I've been saying that Finn Balor been carrying the Judgment Day on his back. Okay. And it's nice to see that he's still a threat to the world title. And, him basically getting the better of Gunther. And so I already don't know Finn's not going to win the world title. It's pretty obvious. And then, of course, you got Rhea and Liv. That's still happening. And I'm just waiting for that feud to be over and done with, to be concluded. Finito, over. Okay. And then Trying to think what else happened. Now, that's pretty much it for the most part. This Raw definitely cooked, and it definitely kickstarted a lot of interesting feuds and developments leading into the next year. So we'll see what happens.